This is Bobby with TimeClick. How y'all doing today? We'll just wait for. We'll give it like 5 minutes for people to start coming in. Good morning, Carmen. How's your week been so far? Morning, Debbie. Good. It's almost Friday, so I hope everyone has some big plans for the weekend. If anything, maybe just to relax a little bit. Yeah, not a problem, Catherine. Good morning, Amy. Hey, Kim. Hope you guys are excited for this. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you guys some good information here. Morning, Sally. So where's everybody from? And I'm seeing some new faces compared to last time. So it's always kind of interesting to see where everybody's coming from. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Veronica. Arizona, Missouri, Columbia, Maryland, Yates City, Illinois, West Virginia, Delaware. Morning, Valerie. Florida, Tennessee. Man, a lot of people over there on the east side. We over here in for those that don't know, we're over here in Logan, Utah, so we're more on the west side of the United States. Albuquerque, wow. Illinois, New Mexico, Canada. There you go. Good morning, Amanda. Caitlin's in Michigan. Wow. This is awesome. People are kind of just everywhere. Sorry about the sunlight, just so y'all know. I have no way of covering this up, so I'm not going to lean back too much right now. I'll kind of be leaning a little forward. All right, we'll give it about another 3 minutes. Man, we got a good amount of people today. I'm excited for this. All right. Welcome, everybody coming in. Another 2 minutes. All right, 1 minute, y'all. Everybody excited for today? Yvette, Ohio. How you doing, Yvette? There you go. Awesome. I like it. I'm definitely recognizing some names here that I've worked with before. Good to see everybody. Oh, it's your Friday now. Oh, you're bragging. You're definitely bragging. That's okay, though. That's okay. All right. Shall we get started? All right. So let me know if you guys are experiencing any technical issues with the webinar. That way I can kind of correct it. Just kind of, and if you guys have questions, post it in chat. Kyle will kind of answer. If they're more of a difficult question, we can save them for Q&A. But we'll go ahead and get started. So thanks everybody for coming. This will be the webinar for TimeClick for Dummies 101 Most Common Mistakes. How to prevent mistakes that cause error messages. Now this happens for between versions 18 and 21. Those are also the versions that we're currently supporting. We do support version 17 a little bit, but not many people have 17. But all the old LE16s and stuff, for those that don't know, we quit supporting them about 2 years ago. So, all right, so let's go ahead. Let's start with meeting the support team. So we do have a dedicated team of 3 individuals that are here to help you, okay? Now, we have myself, we have Kyle, and we have Taylor. We all do both support and sales, although this webinar will be mostly about support stuff. Today's presenters, myself, Bobby. I'm the Customer Success Manager. I will be presenting the webinar. Kyle, he's one of our Customer Success representative. He's an awesome person, and he'll also be managing chat. Kyle, I know you've already said hi a few times, but for some people that came in, do you want to go ahead and say hi again? He'll be the one answering any immediate questions that come in pretty quickly while I'm doing a lot of the webinar. All right, so this is kind of the agenda. These are literally the most common error messages that we get. We have the .exe file is missing, the number error during installation, a server or workstation is asking for IP, the .tc service / .tcpsql is not starting, error 912, which is a registration error, a version mismatch, a TimeClick server not displaying data, no previous backups or auto backup not functioning, your license limited exceeding, reports printing in another language or just not opening altogether, and having multiple versions on the same computer, or having a server and a workstation on the same computer and having multiple servers in a single location. And then we'll talk some about port forwarding and VPN. Now, you'll see some of these that have the commas and have a whole bunch of items in one bullet point. That's because a lot of these usually derive from the same issue. Now, before we go any further, I do have some polls I want to throw up as well as a handout. I'm going to give the handout first. This will be for people to go ahead and download and kind of follow along, answer any questions. Maybe if you, maybe they'll help you generate some questions if you have any as well. And then the poll, I have 3 polls here for everyone. The first one is, I'm kind of curious, what version do you have? Do you have earlier than 2018, 2018, 2019, 20, or 21? We'll give everybody a minute to answer the poll, as well as go ahead and download the workout, a little Word document that we have there. Let's see, share the activity sheet. Good. Okay, you guys got it. All right, so we have some people answering in chat. So we got some 21, 18, 19, 21. Where do you find the version you're on? I can definitely go over that. What you can do is, when you open up TimeClick, if you go to the very top left-hand corner, it will tell you exactly what version. For example, I have TimeClick 2021.2.0.2 loaded up on here. Great question. All right, so I'm also going to throw up the next poll that I have here. It's the newest version. So for people who are on the newest version, kind of want to know if you have the unlimited plan, and if you're not on the newest version, have you do you plan on upgrading to the newest version, which is TimeClick 21? We have I don't have the unlimited support plan. You do have the unlimited support plan, and you don't. If you don't know, that's fine. You don't have to answer the poll. Kyle, if you want to throw up the name of your company, Kyle can turn around and look that up for you and let you know if you have it or not. "2018, but you need to update." You're just kind of pushing it off. Yeah, people tend to do that, and that's okay. We do still recommend having the latest. We always do, because the latest usually solves any problems there might have been bugs. 2018, we do know that is known as one of the slower versions of TimeClick as well. And then, of course, we have the last poll, is we want to know how tech savvy you are. So I want to know who I'm kind of talking to here. It's either going to be, I'm all about IT, or basically, what's a computer? So it's interesting. When I grew up, a lot of people in my family would ask, basically, what's a computer? And so I had to kind of be the one to learn about computers and technology, and I still am. I'm always learning. I'm kind of showing my family how to do things, and it's interesting because my daughter, she's older now, especially for certain social media, she's having to kind of show me how to do some things. All right. So for the newest version answer, we have one person that says they don't have the unlimited support plan, 5 says yes, and roughly 3 say no. Okay. And then, are you tech savvy? I'm all about IT. Looks like we get about 5 people there. What's a computer? For good. We have a good mix of people. That's what I like to see. Okay, great. Hey, there you go, Amy. I like that. I know just enough to be dangerous. And then, Linda, you said newest, you had a really tough time, require a lot of help. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're here for. We're always going to be here to help you, okay? All right, this is kind of good information. I like this. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start moving on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. You guys are going to see TimeClick. You guys are also going to see my desktop background. So I'm going to actually show you guys how to solve some of these problems. Some of them you will have to contact us. Some of them you'll have to contact your IT, which is another reason why we want to talk about this and kind of explain it to everybody. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I want to make sure everybody is able to see my screen. If it seems small or anything, there should be an option to maximize your screen. At least on my screen, there's a little circular button with arrows going out and in. Out means you're maximizing it. What you're going to see here is this is TimeClick 21. We are going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and talk about the first step. Now, the first step here is when you're seeing a .exe file. So I'm going to minimize this a little bit. You go to my icons right here. I'm going to put it in the middle of the screen for everybody. You go to click on it, and you might get like a .exe file is missing. If you do, that's usually related to either a Windows update or an antivirus update. Antiviruses, any of my team will tell you, it's the bane of our existence. We really hate antiviruses. They always seem to pick us up. They, as in like blacklisting us. So what you would normally need to do is you'll delete TimeClick off your computer. You want to make sure you have a copy of your backup. And then you'll turn around and you'll have to put an exception. We always say it in the firewall. in the antivirus. Now, we can do the firewall. I'll show you how we do that. The antivirus is kind of the same way, but that's something that we recommend that your IT team do. We normally don't like to do that because if something were to happen, it could be a liability. Amanda, yes, we will be sending out the presentation when it's finished. It'll generate. It usually takes a few hours to generate the video, and then it should automatically be sent out. So, but let me kind of show you what we do. Is actually tell you what. Let me pull up my Notepad here, and this is, let's see here, where'd the Notepad go? We put in two things. We put in port number, which is 12012. That's for all the newer versions, 18 through 21. That's what we do when we do the antivirus. Now for the firewall, that's what we do for the firewall. For the antivirus, you'll actually have to have your IT people do the port and or the directory. And feel free to take a screenshot, whatever it is you need to do. But for the directory, you'll just open up your File Explorer, which is just a folder icon. You'll do this PC, local disk C, program files 86. Let me know if I'm going too fast for you guys. How do you enlarge it? Debbie, I would maximize your browser window, as well as seeing if Kyle mentioned that there's a magnifier. If that still doesn't work, I know you can hold the control button if you're on Windows, Command if you're on Mac, and then use your mouse to scroll in and out. That will normally help as well. And don't worry, this right now is just to give you an idea of where things are located, and then it'll be the TimeClick server. Now, all I'm going to do is copy. I'm going to paste it right here for everybody. I'm going to maximize it a little bit on my end so that way you guys can see it. If you guys want to take a minute, feel free to write it down or take a screenshot. But this is the information that if we say you need to contact your IT people, this is the information we always give everybody. Now, there is one difference. If you're on the server, that'll be the link. If you're on the workstation, also known as the client, it'll be the same thing here, but it'll say WS. Once again, let me know if y'all have any questions, if I need to slow down, or even if I need to speed up a little bit. We do have an hour on here, but I'm okay if we take a little bit longer. I think we should be good on our time. We can definitely take longer for you guys. So this is what we tell you to tell your IT people. If you're an IT person, this is what we give you to put an exception in the antivirus or any other firewalls if you have them set up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for now. If you guys need me to bring it back up later, I can. But for the firewall, we'll just go down here to the search bar. Now, you'll either have a magnifying glass or you'll have a search bar here. If you don't have that, this is called your taskbar at the very bottom. You'll right-click, hit search, and you can do either show search icon or show search bar. I personally like search box here, which is what you see. And then I type in firewall. We're always going to look for the one that says Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security. You'll click it. Now, if you have the unlimited support plan and we're jumping on your computer, we'll do this for you. Not a problem. We can and you'll see how fast that we can go when we do these type of things, which is another reason why we recommend having the support plan or even the unlimited support plan. So we'll click inbound rules, new rule, port. Now this is that port number that I showed you earlier, 12012. We'll hit next. We'll make sure it says allow the connection. Usually for the inbound, it's defaulted to that. Same thing here. Everything needs to be checked. It should automatically be checked already. And then here we just type in TimeClick. Just like that. And then hit finish. Now we do the exact same thing on the outbound rules. Now for the outbound rule though, there is one minor difference. We still hit port number, put in the port number, hit next. Now this one doesn't default to allow the connection. So we'll actually have to select it. So that would be the minor difference. All of these should automatically be selected. If not, you want to make sure they're selected. And then you'll want to type in TimeClick. For your firewall, that's what we do. Normally, we would say reboot just to make sure all the settings stay. If it's the server computer, it's usually the firewall that's causing an issue. Like say if the server's working fine, but your workstations are having a problem. This would be that's how we know it's a firewall. Now, an antivirus usually means it's per computer. So maybe you have a server not working, or the one workstation, or multiple, like maybe 2 or 3, where one other one does. That's usually an antivirus. You can go have the IT person put in the port number, and you want to have them put in the exception. Once again, I'll pull that up for you right here. Exception of the directory. Now you can also, if you're familiar, going into the antivirus, there's an option. There's so many antiviruses, which is another reason why we don't normally like to mess with them. You're going to look for something that says quarantine. You can Google how to do that depending on what antivirus you have. But you want to go into quarantine. Anything TimeClick related in there, you want to make sure it's deleted out of TimeClick and whitelisted. Whitelisted means that you're allowing the the antivirus to accept our program, so to speak. And then after that, you'll want to reinstall. Because what happens once again is the Windows update or the antivirus will actually delete the .exe file, which is called the executable. That's what that stands for. And it's also known as a .dll file. For those that don't know, you can go to our website, timeclick.com/download, and then you can install a server client from there. Now, this brings me to my next point. If you go to install and there's an error message during installation, like I think the numbers are 41, 51, 330, and there might be another I can't think of off the top of my head. That definitely is a sign of your firewall or antivirus, mainly the antivirus. That means you need to go in and put in those exceptions. Once you do that, then you'll need to do another reinstall. Then next, I'm going to give you guys, I'll come back to this, but I want to show you something real quick. You might see this. Some of you might have already seen this. But I'm going into my services. Once again, I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. See, Linda says, our upgrade issue is related to this subject. Exactly. Our dental software is not functioning with Firewall on, then had conflict with the antivirus and exception. Exactly. That's why this is one of our most common things that we get from everybody, which is definitely something I wanted to cover today. So what I did is I went in and disabled the services just to give you an idea of this next error message that you might see. So I'm going to close my Windows, my TimeClick, and reopen it. Now, usually you'll see that it starts freezing up, lagging a little bit. Then you'll get this message right here. Enter an IP address. Now, if you're on a workstation, you can usually choose the local database, and you should be fine. But if not, you'll need to grab your IPv4 and throw that in here. That's one option. Or as you saw, it could be a service is turned off. Now, to get your IPv4, by the way, we have all of this instructions on our YouTube video. YouTube channel, as well as our knowledge base on our website. So if you miss out, you can re-ask the question. I'm more than happy to go over this again with everybody. But you'll come down here to the search bar, or you can hit the window key R if you're on a Windows. I believe it's like another command key or something similar to an R on Mac. I'm not exactly sure how Mac works too much, but you'll type in CMD, which stands for command prompt. This will have a black box pop up. You'll want to type in ipconfig, all one word, all lowercase, and hit enter. You're going to grab this IPv4 address right here. Now, with the IPv4 address, you would normally plug it in there if this is your workstation. Because normally when you see this error, it's a communication error. It means the workstation isn't able to receive a signal from the server for whatever reason. And when it comes to the server, it's being blocked, usually by an antivirus or whatnot. Now, if you're still seeing that issue, then we'll cancel that. You'll want to get on your taskbar again, right-click, and hit Task Manager. From here, you'll want to go into Services. I always hit Name just to make sure it's in alphabetical order, and then scroll down. You'll go down to the T's, and you're going to look for the TCPG SQL and the TC service. If one or both of those are stopped, you right-click and you hit Start. Now, if they're not starting up, like it says stop and start again real fast or just won't start, that's a sign as well of an antivirus. Now, I'm hoping you guys kind of see a pattern here, and you can see that why we feel antivirus is a bane to our existence. So, you hit X, and once all that is running again, you can open it up, and the error message should be gone. Everything's working just like it should. Now, other than antivirus or firewall, there could also be a third-party software that your IT team may have installed on your computer. The IT team, you would have to contact them. Once again, they'd have to put in those exceptions and the port number. And very, very, very rarely, it could be due to bad internet connection. I've seen this maybe once. And for the IT people out there, for the times you call us, I know sometimes we may seem a little, I don't like using the word argumentative, but assertive, that it's an antivirus or a firewall or a third-party software, because every time I get on the phone with an IT person and they tell me it's not, I get on the computer and without fail, I have shown them that it was a third-party software or an antivirus. Not one time has it not been that. It's always been that, just to kind of give everybody a heads up. Okay. So before I move on to the 912 error, does anybody have any questions regarding this? Do I need to go back over anything again for anybody? I know I'm throwing a lot of information at y'all, so I want to make sure that we're very careful and that we can help. Once again, this video will be uploaded and it'll be emailed to you. I'm hoping everybody's eyes aren't glazing over right now as well. Okay, so the next one would be the error 912. Okay, an error 912 is what's called a registration error. That happens because your registration follows your database, and either A, you're trying to do multiple databases, so you have multiple servers in one location, and you're trying to put the main database on each server. That'll generate the error. Then there's changing the name of your computer. IT people tend to do this from time to time. Just so you know, if you do that, you're going to generate that error. And then the last is usually moving a database without unregistering. Now, what I mean by that is you're moving it from one computer, your server from one computer to another. Now, people usually just grab the database and move it over. They copy, paste it, put it on their computer. But that's not something that you need to do yet, because what you need to do is go into admin here. You'll go to utilities, and there's a button right here that says unregistered TimeClick and export database. So you want to hit this button. It'll generate a new database copy for you. That's when you grab that copy and move it over. From there, if you're on 18 through 20, you'll need to get a serial number from your computer. You'll need to get the transfer key, and then you'll need to let us know so we can generate you a registration code. If you're on TimeClick 21, there should have been a registration code emailed to you, and with the main email that's on file. If you still don't have it, sometimes it can go into the junk or spam folder. Still reach out to us. We're more than happy to get it for you. But when the 912 error appears, we have to jump in and we have to fix it. Now, this is why we recommend having the unlimited support plan or the support plan, because if you don't, it's an $89 per incident fee. And the support plan, depending on how many computers you have, start as low as $99 a year, up to, I think, we have $199 a year for the higher ones, the higher network licenses. And so let me kind of show you what we do and why we recommend having the support plans, because this literally takes us all of like 2 seconds. So all we do is we right-click the icon, go to Open File Location. We find TimeClick Debugger. We open it up. There's an override code that we have that y'all don't have access to. We don't like giving it out, although it does reset every day, because we don't want anybody getting in and messing with these settings. But what we'll do is we'll put it in here, put DB config, and we hit reset registration, and that's it. And then we re-register you, like literally less than 2 minutes. And if you didn't have the support plan, you just spent $89 for that. I mean, honestly, that would probably anger me. And this is why we recommend it. And once again, this covers you all year round for any time we need to jump on your computer. So I'm not going to do it now. That way I don't want to go through right now re-registering mine. I want to continue with the webinar. But just so everyone knows, that's all we do. So, all right, I'm going to reopen TimeClick. The next, we'll talk about version mismatch. Now, before I move on, once again, does anyone have any questions regarding the 912 error? Okay. All right. And so I'll go ahead and move on. The next is version mismatch. So you might see that if you open up TimeClick and a big error pops up, version mismatch. It's okay. No need to fret. What happened, especially, and it happens more if you have more than one computer. But what it was is someone had came in, and there's usually an update button, and they updated one computer, one device, without updating the rest. Or they went in to help and then check for updates. So all you got to do, if that pops up, is go ahead and check both of those. If you're not seeing anything there, you'll want to go to your TimeClick on every computer to see what version everybody's on. Once again, this version is right here. It'll say TimeClick. For example, I have 2021.2.0.2. So 21 is the version, 202 are the patch versions. These are the ones that we found bugs, or maybe we want to add a feature real quick, we'll throw it in, usually more for bugs. Then you want to go to our website, timeclick.com/download, and get on the right version and the right patch number. There are drop downs you'll see on the website below the version number. You'll just want to match that across all your devices. You close out TimeClick, reopen it, boom, you're done. That simple. All right. That was a very easy one, very quick one. The next one that we'll talk about is TimeClick server data not displaying. TimeClick server not displaying data, which means this data isn't showing here whatsoever. Do we have any questions on version mismatch? And Cal makes a good point. It's also the same thing if we need to help reset an admin password. There's that $89 fee. But we really don't like charging people the $89 fee, which is why we recommend the support plan. So it literally takes us 2 seconds to get in and reset everything. So thanks for bringing that up, Kyle. All right. So now if you see this is blank, or maybe you're seeing employees that shouldn't be here, it could be for a few reasons. So we'll start simple. There is a section down here that says, right now it says all employees. Now, it also chooses, if you click the drop down, there'll be options of different departments. You can choose the department. You'll see some people have been removed. Now, if you have multiple computers, and if you want to have the setting, you can go through and just put a department on literally in each department, right, in each area of the business. And if you want to see everybody, you just hit this down here and you hit all employees. That's the first simple fix. The second option, which is very possible, is if you go into admin and preferences and display, you might have your display turned off. Now, if your display turns off, this is kind of what it looks like here. You see nothing, and they have to put in their username, their name, and their password if they have a password. Once again, it's admin, preferences, and display. You just turn it back on. As a heads up, the app does refresh automatically every 5 minutes. If it doesn't pop up right away, just hit the refresh button. If the refresh button for some reason doesn't work, just exit out and go back in. And you're good to go. Now, worst case scenario, if you have a lot of copies of old databases, you might have the wrong database loaded up. If you do, and it's completely blank, you've checked everything else, you'll go into admin, utilities, import TimeClick database. It should automatically go to where the default is, which is C drive, program files 86, TimeClick server, and your backup folder. Now, you'll see I have 3 different ones here. You might have more, you might have less. You want to make sure that there's the right one. Now, you're going to see an average of around 150 KB. Now, if you're seeing 99 or 100, you're probably on an empty one. So you'll want to go through and click the right one. Make sure you check the dates and import it. It might freeze or hang, is what we like to say, a little bit as it loads up, but then everything should load up just fine. There's a chance if you didn't unregister TimeClick and export database, we might need to re-register you because you might hit that 912 error. And that's how you solve that problem. Other than that, you rarely might see it on the workstation if the server's good. That's because the workstation is not pointed to the server. Or maybe if you deleted a server off the old computer and put it on a new computer, it's detecting that old IP address. Now, if you go back to the CMD for command prompt, grab that IPv4 address and go ahead and plug that in, and that's when everything should reappear. Another place that you can plug it in is that what we recommend, what I do is I right click, open file location. I go back to the debugger. You can put in the IAPv4 right here. I always test the connection first, make sure it says successful. Then you can hit update connection and hit connect. All right. Cool. How's everybody feeling so far? Your brain's exploding, your eyes are glazed over. You don't know what to do with yourself. If you have any questions so far about anything we've talked about, feel free to bring it up at any time. That's what Kyle's here for. And I also can help you and re-go over everything. Are there any questions on the TimeClick server not displaying data? There you go. Hey, there you go, Amanda. Email presentation. That way you can play and pause and go through to your heart's content. All right, David. So about PTO accrual, yeah, I can let me get to the Q&As. So remember that question, or any questions that you have coming up. We can turn around and answer those during Q&A. We have just a few more things to go over. It shouldn't take too much longer, and then we'll start the Q&A. Does that sound good? All right. So the next thing we'll talk about is no previous backups or the auto backup not functioning. Now on 18 through 20, only the server can, or sorry, 18 and 19, only the server can have a backup. On 20 and 21, workstations can now have a backup. So that way something happens to your server, you're still covered. Now to go and make sure your backups are up and running, you'll hit admin, utilities, right here, the second tab, auto backup, and you want to make sure it's enabled. And then you want to set it up however you want to set it up. Now, if you want to change the folder, we don't recommend it because if we need to hop on ever help you find it, it can be a pain to find, especially if you don't remember or say if someone else hires a different IT person, they don't know where you put anything. This does not work on externals. Like you can put a backup on an external manually, that's fine, but it won't auto backup to externals and it won't auto backup to your network drive. That's definitely a common thing that we see people do, and we have to let them know. Now, if you're seeing this and you're still having problems, you can check your service status. You might see this, auto backup service is not running. Would you like to start service? Hit yes. You might get Windows Administrator privileges required. Hit yes. My screen might have blacked out on you guys for a second. It's just basically just loaded up, asking if you want to hit yes. Going back. Should be, in this case, it still didn't start up, but normally it should. If that's the case, you go back to your services, right click, task manager, services. Once again, make sure it's in alphabetical order. Scroll down to your T's, and you'll go see, where is that? TC auto backup. You'll see that it stopped. Right click, you can hit start. Give it a second. It's now running. Check service status. You're good to go. So those are the things that you normally want to check. If you've had an antivirus or some Windows update in the past that could have stopped the auto backup, I don't normally see that happening that often, but it's possible. All right, easy fix. And we can move on to the next one, which is license limit exceeded. Although before I do, once again, are there any questions against anything related to the auto backup? All right, cool. So the next is license limit exceeded. You might see that pop up on your computer screen. What that means is that you're installing on more computers than what your license allows. Your license is your network license. So for example, if you have 2 to 5 or up to 5, and you try to install a sixth workstation. So if you have 5 computers, 2 to 5 license, that means you can have 1 server and up to 5 workstations. If you try to add that 6th workstation, then you'll probably get that error. Or maybe your computer died and you need to move it to another computer, which is where we see this happen more commonly. You might get that error then. Now, to fix that, you'll go to Admin, Utilities, right next to the Auto Backup, Manage Licenses. Now, on some of the newer versions, you might see a Select All option. On some of the older ones, I believe like 18, you might have to manually check each one. We always recommend checking all of them, just in case you don't remember exactly what the name of that computer was. You'll hit Reset Check Licenses. You'll see nothing's here now, but sometimes it can take a minute, but the next time, like I get out of TimeClick and I go back in, it should automatically repopulate. If it doesn't, give it a little bit, but it will take up that license. So once you get on the new computer, it might take a minute to pop up, but it will show, once again, it will take up the license on the new computer. That's how you fix that issue. Very simple. All right, any questions regarding to license limit exceeded? Okay, cool. So next we're going to talk about reports printing in another language or just not opening in general. What I mean by that is if you go to Admin, Report Center, and you try to view a report and say the report doesn't load, like you might see it flash down here very quickly and then nothing happens, or it comes up and it looks like it's in an alien language of some sort. All that is you just need to change your settings on your default apps. So you'll go to search right here, type in default apps, then you go to, why am I not seeing it? Here we go. Search default apps by file type or protocol. We usually do file type. We'll give it a second to load. And then what you'll do is you'll scroll down. It's in alphabetical order. Might take a minute to scroll because you're going to look for .pdf. PDF is your PDF file, kind of what you were seeing pop up on my screen. So we're going to go down here, slow down a little bit, right here. So you can click here. You can choose PDF Reader or Google Chrome. Either one of those will work. Microsoft Edge might work. We normally don't recommend it. We usually recommend just using a PDF reader. You'll just choose that, and then it should work just like this, no problem. And then you'll have your report. Do we have any questions on reports printing in another language or not opening? Cool. Awesome. All right. So now we have 2 more things to talk about. The first is having multiple versions on the same computer, having a workstation and a server on the same computer, or having multiple servers in a single location. Multiple versions on the same computer. We see this a lot. Maybe someone had LE12, LE16, or LE means legacy database. It's an older version. We no longer support it, but then they installed a newer version on there. Well, sometimes it can cause communications errors, especially if you have workstations trying to communicate. It may try to pick up with the old version and cause other errors. Just make sure you go in and you uninstall the old version. To do that, for those that don't know, go into the search bar. I just type add or remove programs. And you'll just go down here, look for TimeClick. And then once you see TimeClick, if there's the new one, you keep it. If it's the old one, just uninstall it. Now, if you have a server and a workstation on the same computer, some people don't know, oh, this is my workstation, or they'll tell me they're on a server, but they're actually on a workstation. Your server is your gray icon, and your workstation is your blue icon. They'll look like this, just different colors. With that being the case, to really know if you're on a server or workstation is if it's your main computer, holds your main database, then that usually means you're on a server. For the older versions, 18 and 19, if there's no backup, you're definitely on a workstation. For the new ones, 20 and 21, sometimes you still might see a database, but you could be on a workstation. If you talk to us, we'll kind of ask you some basic questions to get an idea on if this is your server or your workstation. Now, if you have both on the same computer, still go in the same way that I showed you before and uninstall the appropriate, whether it's the server or the workstation. Now, for this section, having multiple servers in a single location, we don't recommend. It's just not going to work. So if you have more than one computer on a network license and you have, like, you're trying to install 2 servers instead of 1 server, multiple workstations, you're going to have not only a 912 error issue, which is your registration, but your workstations are going to get confused on which IP address to follow, which means you'll have to go in and grab the IPv4 that we talked about earlier and plug it in. Just uninstall the server from one of them that you don't want to be your main computer, and if you want to continue using it and you have the license, go ahead and choose go to our website and download the client/workstation. Our database is considered on-premise right now. We are not in the cloud yet. The only cloud similarity that we have is our mobile version, which only allows clocking in, break in, and clocking out. Excuse me. So this will bring me to my next case. But before I go to the next case, does anybody have any questions on anything I've talked about so far? Okay, cool. So now my next point talks about port forwarding and VPN. So if people want to have different locations, like say not the same office, but maybe there's an office across the street or in another city, but they still want to use the same one, IT people specifically like using port forwarding or VPN. Now, port forwarding, we don't recommend, has a ton of issues. Even if it worked in the past, all of a sudden something could happen and it quit working. Now, that's if you're connected to port forwarding, we're going to definitely have you talk to your IT person. If you're IT person, it's all on you, because we do not troubleshoot port forwarding whatsoever. We're not trained in it. It can cause liability issues. If you're set up on port forwarding, it's all your IT person, hands down. I know in the past, some of you may have worked with people that have been here a while back that may have set up port forwarding with you, so you know they shouldn't have, and they're probably no longer with us. Because, once again, it can cause liability issues. Now, VPN, we still prefer to have on-premise, but you can use VPN. VPN, I have not ran into anyone that has had that issue. Once again, your IT person has to set this up. We don't troubleshoot majority of it. Depending on the situation, we still might. We'll still do everything we can, but if it comes down to it and we can't figure it out, then once again, we're going to get you over to your IT person. But it's not as bad as port forwarding. So port forwarding, hands down, we say heck no. VPN, we'll allow it. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to our Q&A section? Anything about what we've talked already? Cool. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. If I can get back on these slides. If I need to start sharing my screen again to kind of show you guys how we do things, that's fine. We're going to take some time and do some Q&As. Let me get this set up, selected. I'm not going to share my screen anymore. I'm also going to change my layout so it kind of looks a little bit better for everybody here. But we are going to go over Q&A. Now, we also have that document in the handout. So if you have any questions, I can go over the document with you. Not a problem. And kind of give you the answers if need be. Actually, tell you what, let's go ahead and do that as well. But let me just talk to David. You brought up PTO accrual earlier. Yes, Debbie, you did mention there are issues right now with PTO accruals. We are trying to work with our developers. Our developers are hard at work on trying to get that resolved. It's been a big thing that we're trying to fix. So I do want to give you guys a heads up. So I guess that kind of answers your question then, David. Right now, it has not been fixed. I try to check it every Friday, and I also let, or if I try to get a time frame from my dev, I will Slack him. Sometimes he may just not have the time because he's the only dev right now, and he has a lot of stuff that's going on. He is very hard working on both PTOs and accruals in general. Those are major issues that we're having right now. Other than that, I can kind of show you guys how PTO and accruals work if you'd like, or how ideally they're supposed to work. Once the dev, though, does fix the bug, you might see an update up here above admin. Or if you go to help and then check for updates, then that's where it's going to be fixed. Those are his highest priorities, though, and he has been working on them for a little bit, poor guy. But he is hard at work for that. Audrey, how do we know if we have port forwarding or VPN? That would be something that we would have you ask your IT person. Because we don't know for sure. We always ask you guys if y'all end up having it. So, David, in the meantime, can we please just get a button that will automatically update every employee with the PTO based on their settings? Kyle, if you could put in that as a feature request and mark it in. I don't know if that would take, how quick that would be, David, but we can ask our dev about that. Linda, is there a PDF of TC21 functionality? There is. So the PDF, so basically the user manual, wasn't uploaded yet. We do have a new one. Let me kind of show you where to find that. So I'm going to share my screen again, kind of go off slides. So I'll bring my other window here. So you'll want to do timeclick.com. You can go to resources and go to knowledge base. So this has our common errors, our features, and our step installation. This talks about all of our features and how to use them. If you want an actual owner's manual, that should be uploaded in the next update. But you can scroll all the way down, go to FAQs. Where can I find the help contents manual? And download it from there. I personally wrote this one, so I know everything should be fully updated. Yes, I can put a link in there for them, Kyle. Let's see. The next question by Veronica, is there a way to import employee hours into QuickBooks for payroll? If you go to our website or the integration, there's when you go into run payroll, there should be a video. The video will walk you through on, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen, sorry. The video will walk you through on how to do that. We don't deal with it too much, to be honest. So usually if we're trying to educate you guys on it, we're going to be watching the exact same video. So it's not something we do on a daily basis. I think I've been here for a year and a half. I think I've maybe done it 3 times. So just to kind of give you an idea. David, for now, every pay period we have to manually update every employee. It does take a lot of time. I agree. I apologize. Once again, we do have one dev. He's currently working on it the best that he can. Emily, I have a time action called no pay time. That would be correct. If when the employees use it, it automatically is included for OT calculations. How can you fix this? Great question. Let me show you. So when you go to admin, you go to preferences, time actions, you have no pay time. So you can click this and you can hit update time action. Oh, sorry. It should have updated. No. Counts as presence for attendance, and I know I'm wondering if, to be honest, I think they might have removed that on the newer versions. I will probably have to get with my dev on that. What version are you on, Emily, if you can remind me? 2018? Okay. So 2018 should have an option that says count as OT. I know whenever you create a custom time action, it will show that here, and you can remove it in OT calculation. So ours automatically includes that, but if you want to create another one, you can. You cannot delete time actions, just so you guys know. So you might want to, what I probably recommend doing is, if you're not seeing it there, Emily, this way, mark it inactive or inactive, create a new one. You say no pay time, and then you can choose remove, include in OT actions, and then hit update time action. Action name must be, let's see. Oh, it has to be unique, sorry. So you can do no pay time. Maybe do it lowercase by chance. See if that works or if it's, yeah. So just change it and do the setting that way. If you're still having issues, Emily, Kyle, if you can get her information after the webinar, we'll have Kyle contact you, and he will help you out with that. And that way, if it is a bug or something we're seeing, then we can report that. Emily, if you have our unlimited support plan, the first thing we normally recommend, though, is just to go ahead and get you fully updated to the newest version. Most bugs, if you see them, if you're not on 21, just for everybody to know, we do recommend fully updating first. Let's see. Okay. So did anybody have any other questions? David, Veronica, Linda, Emily, anything else that may have sparked an idea in your head for a question, just anything in general? We're here, and not just them, anybody, feel free to just fire some questions at me. That's what this is for. We are a little bit over our schedule time, but that's okay. We'll give it a few minutes if we're not seeing any other questions, and we'll kind of go to a close. I will also go ahead and talk about our handout real quick. Pull it up. So the handout, while we're waiting on other questions, the first one says true or false in TimeClick 20 and higher, clients, which are known on workstations, can now perform auto backups if set. that would be true. To unregister your TimeClick database before transfer, you go to, like, basically when I say before transfer, you basically, before moving the database over, what do you do? Once again, the answer is you go to Utilities, then press the Unregister TimeClick and Export Data button. Number 3, what does version mismatch mean? Version mismatch just means that one of your computers are on a different TimeClick version than your server or one of the other workstations. What do you need to do if one of the following occurs? The .exe is missing or has been deleted, number error during installation, server workstation asking for IP, or the .tc service / .tc SQL not starting. What that is kind of what we talked about earlier was the antivirus or firewall. I'm going to pop this back up. You'll want to make sure if it's an antivirus, throw that in there. Question number 5, is it recommended to have multiple versions on the same computer? The answer is no. Number 6, is it recommended to have a server and a workstation on the same computer? The answer is no. And number 7, is it recommended to have multiple servers in a single location? The answer is no. Number 8, do we recommend using port forwarding and why? The answer is no, because we have seen a lot of connectivity issues where the server may not be able to communicate with a workstation or vice versa. Can you use VPN? The answer is yes, you can. Once again, if it comes down, we'll troubleshoot to the best of our ability with a VPN. If you're still seeing issues, if we're still seeing issues as well, then we'll recommend talking to your local IT person. All right, I'm going to go ahead and re-pull up and see. I'm not seeing any other questions. You're very welcome, Veronica. You're very welcome, Debbie. Everybody's welcome. Actually, look like Linda has something. I was looking more for how TC works fully. I feel like there may be things that would be useful, but not sure exactly how it works. I definitely would download the manual when it comes on the update. Accumulation of vacation time, PTO. Thanks for your time. Hey, no problem, Linda. Linda, still reach out to us, chat, email. Kyle, if you want to contact her as well, or I can contact her. We can give you a demo. Linda, we did have a demo video of our last webinar. It should be uploaded onto YouTube. If you can't find it, or just let us know. It should be there. Once again, I'm more than happy to give you a demo. That's what we're here for. All right. And then for everybody staying with us, once again, if you'll get the video, you'll see this as well. We do have the webinar discount. So the discount is 20% off a single product. So you go to purchase an item from our website, or you can just let us know. If you click it, it'll take you to our website. Just let us know you're part of the webinar, and we'll get you 20% off. This includes under package, a support plan. It includes version upgrades, license upgrades. Just let us know, and we will get that going for you. All right. Well, everybody, I hope everything was very informative. I'm sure your heads might be exploding. Mine is a little bit. We definitely plan on doing more webinars in the future. I think, just to give you guys an idea, the next one will probably be related with our sales team, so answering any sales-related questions, pricing packages, things like that. Taylor will be hosting that one. Yeah, I think that's it. So I appreciate everybody coming. And once again, you can contact us via chat, email, or load this back up so you guys can see it. You can contact us here. Our hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Our phone number is 435-753-4102. You'll press 1 if it's sales-related, trial-related, or subscriptions. You'll press 2 if it's customer success. You can email us at support@timeclick.com or sales@timeclick.com. If you want to chat with us, you can hit timeclick.com. I have bottom left icon on the page. It's actually bottom right. And you have our knowledge base here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where the chat icon and where the knowledge base is, just so everyone knows. So we'll go ahead and close out TimeClick. I'm going to share my screen over here. Pull over a web browser. .com. We have a chat icon over here. You'll fill out your information and you'll choose your department. We answer, as long as we're not overwhelmed, we'll usually answer within 7 seconds. Fastest way to contact us, because sometimes we can't get busy on the phone. We normally take around 15 to 18 minutes helping someone solve their problem, depending on what the issue is. Sometimes longer, depending on if that person's computer is, oh, thank you, Kyle. If that person's computer might be a little slow. Once again, sorry. Thanks for letting me know that I was showing my camera. You'll just go to our website, go down here, choose department, and talk to your sales or tech support. Call us, email us, chat. If we miss any of those for whatever reason, not only do I apologize, we could be busy or it could be outside of hours, we will contact you within the next 24 business hours. Now to our knowledge base, I'll go back to it. You'll hit resources, knowledge base, and this will show you common errors, so stuff that we kind of talked about today for the older versions that we no longer support and the newer versions. This will talk about features. As you can tell, we have a lot of features here. And then just installation and setup. So like system requirements for TimeClick, upgrading and updating, uninstalling, installing, moving or replacing your computer, all that is here. And finally, if you want to send us another email, this way you can go to support, resources support. You'll have our information here. You'll have a little bit about us, our promise, and then more questions here. This will kind of give you a little bit of instructions. This is mainly geared towards support. And we have our promise to you. Our promise is if we don't pick up within 30 seconds, leave a voicemail or email us, we'll get back within 1 business day. Chat with us. We'll respond within 10 seconds on average. Like I said earlier, we can do 7 as well. 7 to 10 is our average. And then so far we have a 4.5 or 4.7 out of 5-star customer happiness rating based on 349 customers. We will be gradually updating that for everybody. And just so you know, we'll probably ask you that after the phone call, how your happiness with how we've helped you solve your problem. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. We're glad that you came, and we hope to see you for more webinars. You have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.